see if we can do 2022 set one. Question number 3. Micro, obviously, microeconomics. In the local market for GoodX, there are 4 buyers: Emily, Wu, Omar, and the quantities of each of them will be willing and able to purchase at different prices. The local market for GoodX has a perfectly elastic supply curve. Let's draw it. You should know that perfectly elastic supply or demand, it means that it's horizontal. We can remember that very quickly. We got 2 demand curves or supply, doesn't matter. Let's just call them demand, right? Something straight up and down, if I put a little cap on it like that, straight up and down, that means it like an I, it's inelastic, perfectly inelastic if it's straight up and down. If I put a little cap there on this one, it looks like an E, that's perfectly elastic. Horizontal is perfectly elastic. Straight up and down is perfectly inelastic. We can see that once we put those little caps. So we know our supply curve is perfectly elastic. Our demand curve is just a normal demand curve, downward sloping. Let's do price and quantity here. At the market equilibrium price of $5, so I know that's got to be the price right there, and that's the quantity. Labeled equilibrium price at 5, check. And labeled equilibrium quantity for the market with a specific value based on the table. So at $5, remember now, the way we think about demand is it's summed horizontally. So 2 L's, 1 L, doesn't matter. It's summed horizontally. So we're going to add these together. 3, 2, 2, and 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's correct. That's our specific value at $5. Emily, Wu, Omar, and Fernanda will buy 8 of these GoodX. All right. Assume that the cost of production increases, which causes the price of GoodX to increase from 5 to 7. So that implies that supply is going to shift up. Our costs have gone up. That means our price goes up. And if supply is still perfectly elastic, it's still horizontal. Easy enough there. Calculate the price elasticity of demand for GoodX as the price increases from $5 to $7. Show your work. Now, understand that if we're looking for PED or price elasticity of demand, there's a couple ways you can do this. You could use what we call the midpoint formula, which is fairly more sort of work-oriented, heavy. Some teachers will force you to know how to do this. The College Board will let you use the midpoint formula problem, or they'll just let you use what we call the point formula, which is Q2 minus Q1 over Q1. And this is going to be divided by P2 minus P1 over P1. So, or we could say this, let's say it a different way. Let's just say it's the percentage change in quantity demand over the percentage change in price. That's what this is getting you to figure out, but this is a little more exact, right? This is what this is getting you to figure out, and this is kind of the simplest version of it. So understand that for 2022 and 23, you're going to be using calculators. So this is all going to become a little bit more complicated. I'm sure they're going to make it more complicated. But right now, we just know the percentage change in price, and we do need to find the quantity change here, or demanded change. When the price went up to $7, what was the new quantity demand? So at a price of $7, it looks like it's 2, 3, 4. We went from 8 at $5. 8 was demanded, quantity demanded, and at 7, quantity demand went down to 4. So price change 5 to 7. The way I do this is I just know the change was 2 over the 5, right? So the change, we went from 5 to 7, that was 2, and we started at 5, that's 40%. Easy enough. Quantity demand, we started at 8, we went to 4, that's a 50% change. So 50 over 40, easy enough, 1.25 is our number. I know that anything greater than 1 is relatively elastic. And if it had been 1, it would have been unit elastic. You need to know all of these off the top of your head. If it's less than 1, right, but greater than 0, so less than 1 but greater than 0, that would be relatively inelastic. And then perfectly inelastic is always 0. And that should make sense to you. That makes more sense than the perfectly elastic. The symbol, the PD value is infinity. Nobody likes that. But this perfectly inelastic, at a price change, supply can go up. So quantity demand wouldn't change at all. That makes it perfectly inelastic. So perfectly inelastic PED value is 0. That's more than you needed. But you need to know all of those off the top of your heads. Don't get caught without them because they're going to help you to know it. Identify whether demand for a good is E, we already said, right? If it's greater than 1, it's relatively elastic. Could Emily's marginal benefit for the second unit equal 450? The quick answer is no. Here's our demand. Let's see if we can make some sense of this. At $8, there's 1 unit. At $7, there's 2. At $6, there was 2 again. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense to you either, I'm sure. But we're not going to worry about it making sense. That's just a college board playing games. 3, 3, 4. We can draw it on the graph and know what's going on. At 3, we are talking about Emily, right? So at 3 for Emily, looks like 4 is the units. At 2, it was 4 again. And then at 1, it was $5. Sorry, 5 units. 5 units. So what we recognize here is, could her marginal benefit for the second unit have been 450? And we can see that the marginal benefit for the second unit is either 7 or 6, or somewhere in between there. It could not have been 450, right? Her 450 is somewhere in between buying 3 units, or somewhere at 3 units. So no, the question is no, it could not have been, because for the second unit is between 6 and 7, something of that nature would get you all the points, I think. It's greater. We could just say her marginal benefit of the second unit is greater than 450. I like that. Easy enough. All right, guys, take care. That was a little all over the place with that one, but all right, keep working hard. If you need help, I'm on Wyzant, Charles W. And if not, keep looking. Good luck. Keep working hard, and I'll see you soon. Be safe. Bye.